When I was preparing this interview, I was trying to figure out how I could summarize your profession in a very short amount of time. And this is quite impossible. So actually, I would like to provide you with the opportunity to tell us a little bit how you would describe your profession and the kind of work that you are doing.
Yeah, first of all, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for inviting me here. And yeah, we are sitting here because I'm Brazilian, so we normally like sit down and hang out, so everything relaxed. And yeah, I actually, it's really quite hard to define, and I quite like the idea not having like not being in a box, you know, like sort of I'm this or I'm that. And yeah, I'm a cook, I write books, I do art, yeah, and I think it's nice like this, no? I don't know.
So when you
it's very Berlin.
When you meet someone at a party and they ask you, so what do you do? What is like your one sentence answer to that question?
Actually, I stopped going to parties that people ask me like what I do. That was a long time ago in Frankfurt am Main, where people would say, what do you do? And then if you say something like, hi, I'm working with like whatever, I'm the owner or CEO, and then people would ask, what is your name? You know, so I mean, like I quite like the idea that I'm like free to be what I want to be. If it fits like, okay, I'm a cook. If I want to ask like food for a bio company, and I say I'm cooking with the kids, no, or doing the TED Talk, I want to make a sculpture. So
yeah, so actually you enjoy not having this kind of one profession that you are going to explain to everyone and like just decide every day what you're doing. Because if you follow Tania on social media, or I think you do a lot on Instagram, it's like amazing what she comes up with in like a very short amount of time. So either that, or you're like preparing all these projects and then you have enough for showing a project every day. But like I always have the impression that you're standing in your kitchen and within 1 hour you come up with a project that you put on Instagram, and I'm like always fascinating how you can do that in such a short amount of time. But I mean, what is fair to say is that a lot of what you do has to do with food.
yes.
And that probably has to do with your original profession, and I think it was in 2006 that you graduated and became a chef, right?
Right. Yeah, I think that comes before, like the art comes before, because I'm daughter of an artist. And I started working with art actually, and then I had the opportunity to work with Gilberto Gil, and I don't know if you know about Brazilian culture. It's like it's amazing. It's worth to check it out. He's a musician that was minister of the culture as well in Brazil, and so the conquered poets, and so I think this background in art was like the first thing in my life, and then it happened that I opened the restaurant when I was 19 years old. I mean, I had no idea what I was doing there. I was the director of marketing and communication, and I did the exhibitions and cultural events inside the restaurants. Yeah.
So you started the restaurant, but not as a chef, like you were doing managing.
Yeah, exactly. I was doing the marketing and communication. And I was creating sort of like activities, because after 1 year, you know, like in the market, you are not new anymore. So I always came up with ideas which were hardly accepted by the chef. And that's the reason why I decided studying, because I wanted to learn this language. You know, I wanted to say to him, vegetarian Japanese food, it's possible. Look, we can do like this or like that. Or I was very naive. I thought, you know, it was possible to tell him, you know, like, I'm doing the floating exhibition, let's serve floating dishes. And then he would say, yes, Tania, it's a great idea. And actually, you know, he never accepted. It was not a question of learning the language and learning, like having like a bit skills as a chef. Yeah, it's like it's a bigger problem, right?
So, but would you say that was actually the trigger why you started to learn to cook? Because the chef was not open to your suggestions, and that it was the alternative instead of being like frustrated and just not doing the projects that you had in mind.
Exactly. I think this was one of the experience where I was the victim. And yeah, and you know, was really hard because first, I mean, I was young. I am woman apparently, and you know, in a Japanese kitchen, it's really hard. I mean, you can not even look at the eyes. You know, like in the chef, he was very traditional, so you cannot look at the eyes. You have to, you know, walk behind, and you know. And then it was already like really hard for me to work with him. And then when I tried to be like also chef, it was the worst thing, you know. And then I was for sure at this situation. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's your place. So one of your projects, actually, you're bringing together two of the most important aspects of your work. That is the Food Art Week in Berlin. Can you tell us a little bit about this kind of project? We see one of your projects. Okay, so maybe just quickly explain to us how you came up with this project and what was the idea behind it.
Actually, this was like a commission work with the Ecological Institute. I'm sorry. Was doing a conference about food waste, and then I wanted to talk about the impact of the bread waste in a global sense, you know, like what that means. And so what you see is like a globe and the amount of the bread that each of us threw away a year here in Germany. And then I thought it was like a kind of like visualizing the amount of waste would be sort of like it explaining itself, you know, what is the
amount of waste that we produce. And
yeah, that actually, like, you know, like everybody were like thinking and talking inside at the conference, like because we are doing great, we are doing this to reduce waste. And were you there? So like Denise is from Sustainable Food Academy, and I think she was there. You know, everybody saying, "Now we are doing great, we are reducing." And but actually, I did like an installation at Markthalle 9 in 2011 about the bread food waste for the launch of my first book, the Kochen mit Brot. And that at that time, each of us, the amount of bread was like 6 kilos per person, and now it's 9 kilos.
So it actually increased.
Yeah. So I wonder, you know, with all these initiatives, we are doing worse. So what's wrong? What's wrong?
I mean, you work a lot with children. Do you talk with them about that, and do you ask them? So how is it how is it at home? Like, do you waste a lot of bread? And
yeah, actually I have like many different reactions. There are like people, they say, I don't throw food away. I don't have like any waste at my home. And there are people that they are aware about the waste, and also not only talking about the bread, but also everything that concerns the food way, right? The packaging, the waste in the fields, and the waste everywhere. So then those people, they like are very rare, actually.
Can we see maybe the next picture? That's exactly. So that was in your own gallery, I think, right? With
yes.
Famous Berlin. So it's again about waste.
Yes, about the meat waste. I wanted to, because this was during the Berlin Food Art Week, and the Food Art Week is a project I created in 2015, because I realized that it could be very powerful if we combine food, art, and community. And then I thought, okay, let's bring together Sustainable Food Academy, Bio Company, the Guido Ritter, like a scientist that created the Institute for Nachhaltigkeit, Sustainable Institute, And so why we don't bring this mind connect people together, and then we think about, because it's really hard to say like as like one person. I don't have all the answers, you know, how we can make it better, but I think as an artist or creative person I can give some input. So basically that was the idea. And this I asked the garbage company of Berlin, and they were really concerned about the meat waste, because this has a much larger impact than any other food waste. And then I decided doing this work and also making the Food Art Week with the meat topic.
What I really like about your projects is that you spend a lot of energy and time in explaining us that there is a lot that we can do with food waste. Like you can create amazing dishes with food that would normally end up in the rubbish. And also your book, Kochen mit Brot, actually it's like how to use old bread that usually you would throw away. And always when I'm looking at especially your pictures, I have the feeling that what you're doing is you're putting like a mirror in front of us and showing us that we're actually ignoring so many of the biggest problems that we have on a global level. I mean, we have food waste, but then we also have plastic waste, the Amazon, the Amazonas, Amazon, yeah, that would be nice. And I think you told me once that it's interesting when you put those pictures online and you try to encourage people that we have to do something about that we have to reduce the food waste, that we have to reduce the plastic waste, that sometimes you're really surprised about the reaction of your followers, but not in a very positive way, actually.
Yeah, totally. It's a for me, I mean, it's like sometimes even like surprising, because like I mean, I didn't expect like my friends to say, Tania, it's too late, you know, what can we do? I mean, like we are just like so like a little, you know, like Hendrik Hase told me something interesting though. He said, I don't know if some of you know Hendrik Hase, but he said, Tania, you know, you're doing this for like all these green people from Berlin, you know, like Prinzessinnengarten, Market Halle 9, you know. So you're always the same, you're repeating yourself. You have to talk to this like 97% of the population and then try to convince them that it's something worth to think about, you know, that it's not too late, that you can do something. And I think then what I try to do is to make it like a more sort of fun and engaging. You know, like this is very like pop, and so, but you know, like kids love it, this work, you know. I got like a kids asking me to give them, you know, or even like one kid brought like a mother to ask me like how much it would cost because he would like to have it in his room. And so I think, you know, like kids understand also like faster, and they are very, you know, like sensible or sensitive in a way. I don't know, but what I think is really like the challenge is how to communicate in such important issues, and how to make people like really consider doing something, you know, like without being sort of hard, you know, without making it like changing completely the people's life. I mean, you know, like because we are not able to change from one day to the other like he did, you know, all of us. So
yeah, but it's interesting because even, I mean, I would suppose that most of us would agree that yes, we have to reduce food waste, yes, we have to reduce plastic waste, and still, how many of you can identify with this feeling of yes, we need to do that, but somehow you also wish that someone else would take care of that. Like there would be some law prohibiting you to use plastic, or that there would be some initiative that would take care of that. And in the end, who of you would say that actually, yes, I'm doing whatever I can without changing my life completely in order to do the food waste and in order to do to reduce the plastic waste. And I mean, that's the big challenge, that even if we are convinced that yes, we have to do it, it's like it's so much convenience to have this idea that someone else will take care of that. Do you see this kind of reaction with also the people, the kind of people that you're working with? So even in this very in this scene that is very sensitive to these problems.
Yeah, I got like one person interesting that you say that, because one artist actually that we have like 21 friends in common on Facebook. And this person asked me to be his friend. And I accepted. I thought, okay, friends of a friends, if we're friends of a friends, we can be friends. And then this person started writing on my timeline like, art cannot change the world. Art cannot do anything. Stop writing bullshit in like capital letters.
Well, that's quite a message.
Yes. And then, you know, like he said, we are doing better than ever. There is less wars than before. There is like less hunger and this and that, which is true. But that doesn't mean that we should like sit down and say, hey, it's like we are doing great, it's better than ever, you know. There are still like a lot of people out there suffering. I know, like the refugee crisis and the hunger crisis and all the crises that climate change is real. I don't know if someone realized here in Berlin 40 degrees, you know, there are people like making parties because Berlin 40 degrees, and our organic farmers friends, you know, they're not making parties. You know, I mean, spicy good, which it's like now as a solidarity agriculture is like cultivating physalis, a plant that is originally from Africa. Yeah. So our food is going to change. You know, everything is going to change so fast, and people are going to realize that. But hopefully for some issues, like not too late, because it's really, really sad, like, you know, like concerning like the animals, the Amazonas, you know, I think like why we have to suffer, you know, if we created all these problems, why we cannot solve these problems, right?
Those who are following you on Facebook and Instagram get a lot of tips provided by you how they can actually reduce their food waste or their plastic waste even. But for our audience here tonight, like give us like two of your most easiest tricks or tips that you can share with us so that we can by tonight or tomorrow like start further reducing our food waste.
Say no to straws. Everybody I think is saying if you don't want the packaging, you know, just leave it at the supermarket. Or ask your supermarket, talk to your supermarket. Don't be afraid of talking, you know. I think like many friends, they are afraid to raise a voice or to do something different, you know. But actually at the end it's super nice because I mean, I think bio companies, for example, is very happy to get feedbacks from their clients. So what they think could be better, could improve, and because it seems to be a very big company, which is like I don't know, before it was only Berlin, in Brandenburg, and now it's Dresden, but still it's a company that you can talk to them, you can write on the website, you know, it's not far from our reality. I mean, just to say, hey, I like bio company, but I don't like that you're selling this or the plastic or the water bottle, just only glass, please, or, you know. So this is one thing that it's when you go to restaurant, and if you have always a container, you know, you can avoid this packaging, which, you know, some people maybe they might complain, but this will be the future, you know. I got like
the doggy bag when you ask them to.
Exactly. I want to take with me the food, you know, or buying always when you can as more as you can, organic, regional. You're avoiding a lot of waste, you're helping people, you're helping animals, so you're helping the planet and yourself, your health. And So if these are, you know, like cooking by yourself is also like a very one thing I really recommend in cooking with kids. If you have kids, if you can go around and then teach kids how to cook, this is, you know, like investing your time to the kids, I think is really like something important. They are our future. It's like not that sometimes many people say to me, but you know, we all know that. No, it's not like that. You know, even at the Waldorf school, my son is at the Waldorf school. Even at the Waldorf school is, you know, many people, they don't know like what is like vegan, why some people are eating vegan, why some people they don't want to eat like animals products. You know, so it's still like. Sometimes we think everybody knows because, you know, we are in a certain environment that everybody knows, but it's not like that. It's worth to spread the word. Well, there are so many things that, you know, that you can easily do. Like having always your bottle of water, as for example, not buying the plastic bottle, you know, just refusing. If you go to a restaurant, you can ask, do you have the water in the glass or not? Or no, no, then you don't take it, you take something else. And yeah. Like,
well, that's already quite a lot, I think, that we can try out.
Yeah.
Well, this friend of yours on Facebook is just one example, but you told me that actually you encounter quite a lot of resistance from very different directions. And I think one of the most tricky things about trying to do our share in solving the big problems is when people try to convince us that actually we are not fully committed. For example, if we try to reduce food waste, then we are asked why we still have a car, because it would be, I mean, if we truly care about the environment, then we also would need to get rid of our car, or, you know, all these other things. So if you try, I think you told me that you try to talk with people about reducing food waste or reducing plastic waste, and then a reaction that happens a lot is, yes, but then why are you taking a plane, or why are you doing this? I mean, either you do it 100% or you don't do it at all, because it doesn't matter anymore. And I think that's very interesting, because it really reflects this kind of victim mindset that we have been introduced before. And it's basically to looking for excuses, and also to look for the weak point in the other side, like to be the one who spots the weak point, and in order to find an excuse why you're actually not doing it. And I mean, we hear that so often when people say, yeah, but I mean, I will never stop eating meat, and like stop eating meat even for one day a week. What's the point in it? I mean, it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, for some people it does. Yeah, I think, you know, like first of all, I think I am not the perfect person, and I don't want to be. I mean, I got someone that wrote to me like, "You are everything that I believe." I mean, I'm not God. I don't want to be the God of anyone. You know, like, I mean, I'm human. I'm full of you know, of imperfections, and I don't want to be that perfect person. You know, and I am not. So I think I wear my shoes. I have, you know, like I damage the environment, right? Like I'm like like all of us, right? If we do this, so what the thing is like is to find a balance. And I think also once you get like sort of this mindset, I don't know. With me, it happened like this. Okay, food waste, what can I do? What can I do with like this rest of this yogurt that's staying there? Okay. And then I was like thinking, you know, with one spoon that you like, you know, with the packaging, you can make like a beautiful face mask. And yeah, with like a bit of honey and this and that, it's amazing, you know. So sort of like it's like this yogurt that you don't want to eat anymore because it's like kind of dry or something like there, you know. So it's sort of like the mindset. Then when you start thinking, okay, what can I do? You know, like I can do my clothes. It's so much fun. Look, I did this. I mean, I'm happy, I have fun, you know. Maybe you think I was like off with this, you know, style or something, but I have fun doing that, right? I mean, I was my boyfriend invited me to have dinner, and he took me on his bicycle, and it was like the most romantic and the most beautiful trip, you know, to this dinner. I mean, it's like a lifestyle. I mean, you can enjoy. It can be fun, you know, but it doesn't mean that, okay, if I want to visit my family in my friends in Brazil, I mean, I really want to do, and the other thing I'm doing, I'm going to Mexico City to make the Food Art Week. You know, I'm packing some artworks, I'm going there to this museum, installing the works. I mean, the artworks, it's also like paper, trees, right? So there's but why I'm doing this, you know, there's a reason why I'm doing this, right? It's not like just because, you know, like this Black Friday, now I started working against this Black Friday thing, just consuming because it's cheap, because, you know, like just like buying. You know, it's just like, I think this is the difference, you know, like of being aware and, you know, and not, but not like being crazy about, you know, like that's just enjoying, like doing some nice stuff.
Coming back to the Food Art Week, because you mentioned that the one in Mexico is going to happen. Can you explain a little bit about the concept behind the Food Art Week that you started in Berlin, right?
Yeah, actually the idea was, as I said, to bring together people, like different people, scientists, environmentalists, and all kind of people together to make art about food or with food, but no food waste. But to raise awareness about these topics that we think is like sometimes difficult to talk, or, you know, like sometimes it's annoying for some people, like again this, you know, like talking, I know there's this problem in Amazonas or in Africa, or, you know, I don't want to talk about this, I have enough problems. So it's like just that this was the idea to make this community. And then it came out that, I don't know, somehow we had 10,000 visitors, 100 people participating in, like artists, people from all over the world. And then I started receiving like emails. I want to do in Paris, I want to do in Hong Kong, Bucharest, and I don't know. And I think it's meaningful because when I see that some people, they have like some solutions, you know, that are totally like something that I didn't think about, or we here, the community in Berlin, didn't think about. And I think this exchanging is very necessary, you know, because we are living in a very like challenging times. So yeah, it's growing. It's like a project by the NGO Food and Movement, which I'm co-founder. And it's basically me cleaning the toilet, hanging the artworks, talking to the people, explaining, and doing the social media.
Yeah, and I mean, that really sums up your attitude that, I mean, fits perfectly this creative mindset. Like, you're always trying to come up with solutions, always trying to do the best out of a situation. But do you also know the other sides? Do you sometimes in retrospective discover that you have been caught in the victim mindset? All
the time. Even nowadays. But one thing that I think they start off like everything, like the way that led me to what I'm doing now, was the point that I moved to Berlin. I got a job offer in the first vegetarian restaurant with a Michelin star here in Berlin, a gourmet vegetarian restaurant, Cookies Cream. And then I moved with all my stuffs, winter in Berlin, 1 meter snow, no one at the streets. And Stefan said, I'm so sorry, the restaurant is not running good. That was like almost 10 years ago. And then I was there, he said, okay, but you know, you're so nice, you're so good. Here the number of like, the numbers of some people I know. And then one guy, I phoned with him and said, like I'm trained in Japanese kitchen. I've been in London, in Tokyo, and I said, okay. And then I said, I am only half Japanese. Okay, then come. You have the interview. I've been there. The guy didn't look at my face. I mean, it was incredible. Kokoro Ramen, this guy, he was like, I said, hey, hello. Brazilian way. And he said, oh, I'm sorry, I broke stuff. I have insurance. I didn't realize. Sorry.
No worries.
That's the downside of wearing.
It was my amazing idea to hide this here. Well, anyway, I was there. And this guy, said something in Japanese I didn't understand. I said, I'm sorry. I said, I don't speak Japanese. And then he said, find a paper and write your number on this and leave it there, And I wonder if I should do that, or not. But at the end, I decided to do it. And I said, okay, I crossed the city. I came here, right? I wrote, but the guy didn't look at my face. He didn't give the work to, to just move a bit and look at my face. It was like I was feeling so bad. I was feeling like I'm the worst person in this world. I mean, when I came back and I said, wow, that was really fast. It was like a 1 minute interview. You cross the city, and I thought, okay. I don't want to live that. I don't want to experience that. I mean, I know what I can. I did so much in my life. I don't need that. And I had no option because it was really like Berlin, winter, no one, I didn't know anyone. So I said, okay, I'm going to do my first event, the Share Your Food. The first Share Your Food. And 65 people came, NPR radio came, and so many supporters, people were so excited about. And I thought, okay, it's, when you are doing something that you do with your heart, or you have the motivation, and also I think it's when you're doing something right, everything, starts flowing somehow, like magic.
Well, that's your experience at least. But what I really like about this story is that, what is in this moment when you felt so disrespected? I mean, it's disrespect if someone is not even looking into your eyes, and it feels already very difficult to be the one seeking a job. And I suppose most of us know this situation, that you're looking for a job, you're always the one who is applying, and you feel like you're totally depending on someone else, because in the end it's about their decision, whether you're in or whether you're out. And what you did then is actually you decided, okay, I'm out of this game. I'm not waiting any longer for someone to offer me a job, and I'm just doing whatever I can with the skills that I have and with the little resources that I have. And I provide myself with my very own job. And that is definitely, I think, one of the most important skills of the creator mindset. That is to really think about what there is that we can do about the situation and how we can change it. And
now it's your time.
Okay, so Tania has decided that it's your time now to do that. Well, thank you for sharing your stories with us.